Big tech executives have quietly assembled a massive multi-million-dollar war chest to effectively buy the federal government. So their public messaging, the stuff you see in congressional hearings and also on the news, is that they're doing this for your protection. Like, they are standing in front of lawmakers practically begging for AI safety laws and strict regulations to prevent artificial intelligence from destroying humanity. And they paint this picture of a sci-fi Terminator scenario to keep you scared. But if you actually look at the math, the money, and the exact legislation being drafted right now in 2026, you realize that this has been absolutely nothing to do with safety. Like, it is a classic textbook economic strategy called regulatory capture. These trillion-dollar companies, the ones building the massive cloud AI models, know that the only way to even maintain a monopoly in the tech space is to make the cost of entering the market so incredibly high that nobody else can afford to compete. If they can successfully lobby the government to mandate million-dollar safety audits, mandatory hardware tracking, and also strict federal licensing fees just to run a basic neural network, well, then they completely wipe out the indie developers, the researchers, and the startups. They are using your fear of the unknown as a Trojan horse to build an impenetrable regulatory environment around their own products. They don't want to regulate AI to, protect you. They want to regulate it so it becomes legally, practically impossible for anyone except a massive government-approved corporation to write code. But the regulatory moat is just like the broad setup, because the actual specific target of this lobbying money, the exact piece of technology they are trying to effectively outlaw by the end of this year, is the only thing keeping your digital life private. And the mechanical reality of how they plan to ban it will actually make your stomach drop. So we'll get into exactly what they're trying to kill in a moment. The specific technology that they are trying to regulate out of existence is open source local AI. So right now the internet is in a massive war between cloud models and also local models. So a cloud model, like the ones big tech runs, like ChatGPT, Gemini, requires you to send every single question, prompt, and piece of personal data up to their servers. And once it's there, it is obviously recorded, analyzed, and tied directly to your account identity. But an open source model can be downloaded directly to your own physical computer, and it runs completely offline. It doesn't need an internet connection. It has absolutely zero telemetry, and it doesn't report back to a corporate server. It is the most ultimate form of digital privacy, because the computation literally happens locally on your own computer. And that offline privacy is exactly what terrifies the monopolies. They cannot monetize a local program. They cannot track your thoughts if you are offline, and the government cannot legally subpoena a server that doesn't even exist. So to solve this problem, the current lobbying push is actively trying to frame open source AI weights as a literal national security threat. They are pushing lawmakers to classify locally run math equations as dangerous munitions. The argument they are making behind closed doors is that if an AI model isn't locked safely behind a corporate API where it can be monitored and censored in real time, it is inherently unsafe for the public to possess. So they are deliberately framing your offline privacy as a weapon. But if you want to know who is actually writing these exact laws, you don't have to guess or speculate. A comprehensive blueprint literally just leaked out of these massive tech labs, outlining their entire industrial policy for what they affectionately call the intelligence age. And the specific federal mandates that they are demanding are hiding right out in the open. So if you want to see what a bot government actually looks like, well, you just have to follow the paper trail that dropped over the last few weeks. So big tech firms, massive venture capital giants, and top AI executives, well, they have been funneling tens of millions of dollars into super PACs specifically designed to back politicians who will enforce their version of the future. Just recently, major AI labs published literal infrastructure blueprints and also industrial policy documents that they are handing directly to like federal lawmakers. They're openly asking the government for massive taxpayer funded, like obviously funding, to build out their massive private energy grids and data centers, while on the other hand simultaneously demanding that the government enforce strict licensing regimes on anyone trying to build open source models. Like, they are attempting to crush like state level bills like the ones in California that actually like tried to hold tech companies liable for privacy violations. And on the other hand, this is completely unrelated, but California has such like a weird track. Like sometimes they alternate between like good bills and then stuff that just like destroys privacy, but that's not related. But pretty much like these companies are trying to push down like these state level bills by pushing for a single watered down federal mandate that they get to write like themselves. Like they are even buying up like tech media networks just to control the narrative that AI requires corporate licensing to be safe. It is a completely vertically integrated takeover of the regulatory process. Like the laws are being ghost-written by the exact corporations the laws are supposed to regulate. And the result is a legislative landscape that mathematically like outlaws like the indie developers while handing trillion-dollar companies a blank check. So the laws are bought up and there's all like this funding, and open source privacy is completely backed into a corner. But like what does this actually mean for your physical computer sitting on like your own desk? And like how does this like fundamentally change the way that you log onto the internet next year? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how like this ties back into like the ultimate digital like checkmate. So when you connect all the dots, well, the end game here isn't like about like controlling artificial intelligence. Like it's simply about establishing the final digital like checkpoint for the internet. Like if big tech successfully uses these safety laws to outlaw or severely cripple open source local AI, well, you will be left with absolutely like no alternatives. Like every single piece of advanced software, every smart operating system, and also every search engine will be like strictly tethered to a corporate cloud. And as we've discussed before on like this channel, to access those heavily like regulated cloud services, well, you won't be able to just use like an anonymous like burner account or like a fake email. Like you will be legally required to authenticate your session using a digital ID. Like literally you're completely locked down. Heavily like censored AI system will become the mandatory middleman between you and the internet. Like every single prompt you type and every private document that you ask it to summarize, and also just every like creative idea you generate, well, it will be run through a client-side scanning like algorithm before it ever even like leaves your device, logging your digital footprint to a corporate database. Like it's really crazy. And the thing is that the scariest part isn't just that they're trying to build this trap, but the fact that they are already embedding the hardware required to enforce it directly into the motherboards of the computers right now. So this is where the software trap becomes like an actual reality. So to enforce this new intelligence policy, the industry is currently rolling out mandatory neural processing units or NPUs in every new computer that's being sold. When you combine the software licensing laws that kill open source privacy with the hardware mandates that force local surveillance chips into your machine, you can see the trap here. So yeah, will this go through? Will people realize, will the PAC money dry up? Well, that's a question to be like, found out. So yeah, I'll see you next time, and drop a comment if you want.